Hello everyone, this is Rick Portwood. I'm coming to you from Building 22 in the headquarters of Display Group and AVL Creative. It's our virtual studio, and I'm here with the president of Northwood University, Kent MacDonald. Kent,
Morning.
welcome.
Thank you, Rick. Great to be here.
Yes, great to have you. So obviously, you've had a lot of challenges this year, but most notably, we had a big flood up there.
Yeah,
and so what can you tell us about how that's affected the campus?
Well, I would say that Northwood is the only university in history that's survived a 500-year flood during a 100-year pandemic. Yeah. But the good news is we have survived. There's been tremendous devastation throughout our region, and yet the campus is being rebuilt right now. The community's coming back online, and I think it's just that can-do attitude that exists not only in Midland but specifically within Northwood, kind of who we are, and I'm extremely proud of the momentum that we've had.
That's great.
And we expect to be open on August 24th.
Oh, that's great. With the campus right now, what have you done as far as, any of the summer programs or any of the athletes that are on campus? What have you been able to do for those kids?
Yeah, so because of the pandemic, the COVID-19, a lot of our students left. We have about 25 students still on campus. Half of them are international students, and we continue to serve them in limited ways. The classes in the spring and in the summer are all online right now. We made that decision prior to the flood. Yeah. So right now we are focused on making sure our classes are ready to come back onto campus on August 24th and welcome the students back. We'll be ready for that. I think we've put in good processes in place for the virus issues, and we have been able to prioritize the type of activity that we need to rebuild to make sure residences and classrooms are ready for when they return as well.
So are all the buildings on campus salvageable?
They are. We'll have lost 2. Another 8 have been really devastated. Both gymnasiums, our outdoor track, our indoor field house. Some of the administrative buildings, our facilities plant has been, it was completely underwater, imagine. Probably about 15 feet of water. So those will have to be rebuilt. But the administrative buildings, we now have them cleared out, drying out, and construction will begin shortly. We're in a fundraising campaign, and we will bring those back online when they're ready.
Great. Yeah. Great. Well, that's good. That's good news.
Yeah.
That August 1st opening certainly makes me feel good.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. So I know that a lot of the faculty was also impacted by this, including you. So how are they coming along, and what can Northwood do for them and alumni do for them?
Yeah, so we had about a dozen families who were impacted, ranged from some had some water in their basement to sadly some houses being completely filled with water. And so what we've been trying to do, we've had a campaign to have funds come in just to simply help our colleagues rebuild, replace items that have been damaged, and we'll continue to support them. And I just know that myself, Mary Ellen, and I, we were out of our house for a month, and we're back in now, and some construction to be done. But the big thing for me is to help our colleagues get through this, because to have that many people impacted, and that many people in our region, Midland in particular, dozens of other families are suffering. The good news is that it's been remarkable how people have come together, have not waited for government to come and solve the issue, that they all have leaned in and have volunteered, including people from here in Detroit. Imagine. A couple
of our staff actually here have been up there, several times helping out, just driving down some streets and looking where there's help needed and just going at it.
I mean, just imagine. We've had some difficult days these last few months. We've had to, as a country and a community, look inward and ask really difficult questions. And through all of that, I just think it's really important for us to also find signs of hope. And the fact that people are coming all the way from Detroit on their own time to help others is a remarkable testament that in time we're going to be okay.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing what people can rise up and
Yeah.
rise to the challenge. And I think as Americans, that's something that we see that time and time again.
Yeah.
Whether it's here or somewhere else, we want to help, we want to put our money and our work towards it, and
Yeah.
it's inspiring, definitely.
It is inspiring, and it's beyond helpful because the buildings can be reconstructed, but it's the other internal damage that can occur, and the things that have been lost that can't be replaced. We had one professor, Dr. Glenn Moots, for example, 25 years, philosophy professor, and he had books in his home library, books in his office, lost thousands, about 17,000 books. And we're running a little campaign called the 500-Year Book Campaign, and to align with the 500-year flood. And we're getting books from Texas and California, a couple from Europe, across
Nice.
Michigan, all just indicating that people still care a lot about one another, and that's the American spirit that is so incredibly helpful and still alive today.
Yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah.
So a question, I was back at Northwood in '86 when we
Yeah.
had the last flood.
Right.
So I know that we had to shut the campus down for a couple of weeks. How much worse was this flood than that flood? Just so people like myself can understand.
It was worse. You had a tough time though in '86, as you remember, and one of the differences was that that flood that you experienced happened in the fall,
Right.
and they shut down classes. But you were back studying in 2 or 3 weeks, I understand.
Yeah, we were.
And this flood, everybody was off campus because of the virus. So that, from a logistical point of view,
Yeah.
was in fact helpful.
Sure.
We did have to evacuate some students, those ones I mentioned earlier,
Yeah,
but essentially it was a different situation. The water itself, though, was higher. We reached almost 40 feet of water going up over the Tittabawassee River.
Wow.
You would have had about 32 feet
Okay.
back, though, in '86, which is significant.
So what was the highest point of water on campus?
Well, it was so high that when I went in a boat to have a look at it, that boat could go over power lines. Imagine that.
So that's 20, 30 feet.
Right. And the facilities building that I mentioned that will have to be torn down, watercraft went just alongside the peak of that building. So that's how much water there was. And for those people who have not been to Northwood, we're on a little gradient. So the one corner of the building was not touched. Our Graduate School of Business was not wet, but most of the other buildings took on water.
So do you see rebuilding some buildings now? How soon do you think that'll happen?
Well, a couple of buildings we will have to, and I would love to put a shovel in the ground, particularly on our facilities building this fall. Mm-hmm. It will require some additional fundraising that we're working on right now. The other 10 or so buildings, some of them will be ready for the fall, and some of them will take some additional months to get them ready. I'll give you an example. Our beautiful gymnasium will not likely be, at least one of them, not ready for the fall. Our outdoor track won't be ready. But the good news is most of our classrooms have not been touched, and our residences have not been touched.
Well, that's the most important.
Right. So we can do the core part of our business, teaching, learning, living, eating, and the rest of it will just have to be staggered and rebuilt in appropriate amount of time. Northwood really, as a business school, believes in not having debt. So we have no debt. And it's important for us to raise the funds, fix it, raise the funds, fix it,
Right.
as opposed to borrowing. And we'll continue to take that approach. We think it's the prudent way to manage things. And but we'll be ready for the students on August 24th.
Well, that's good. It's a beautiful campus, so I'm sure there's
gorgeous.
plenty for them to do there. No
Yeah,
doubt about
yeah.
that. So now the most important question, as an alumnus, what can we do to help?
We have been producing graduates for 6 decades now. And look, we realize that our alum are at different points in their careers. And not every alumnus can give a significant amount of money back to their alma mater. So I like to describe it as time, treasure, and talent. And in terms of the treasure piece, there is no doubt, as a small university, we rely on our incredible alumni. And our ask is for our alum, and friends of the university, because as America's free enterprise university, we have a lot of people who truly understand the importance of free enterprise. We're asking them to give back in any amount. We have had one donor step forward already with $1 million gift, and we've had others give us $10, $20. And so this is really a time that we're describing it as rebuilding America's free enterprise university, and we're asking for help. And so on this show, you'll see those numbers and emails.
Yeah.
There are people ready to pick up the phone, answer emails, and we would love their support.
All right. Well, we'll do everything we can to get that story out there, and you know, let everybody know what they can do to help out. And I'm sure we'll be able to get some money and get things back to normal.
There's no doubt being on campus is great, but one of the highlights of this small, humble, private university is to see the incredible success rate of our alum. People are surprised when I tell them that 1/3 of every alum coming out of Northwood is like you, that they own their own companies.
Right.
And so we have a tremendous track record, and we're extremely proud of that. So we'll look forward. I hear you might be dropping by this July to drop in.
I'm going to come to campus.
Yeah.
And go to Frick's. And
Yes, that's right. So I'll look
right.
forward to seeing you
Yeah.
and other alum. And again, the thing that I'm looking forward most is August 24th.
Yeah.
That our enrollment looks good for the fall. We have our alum have been very supportive in getting the word out for this fall, and we'll look forward to returning students and then a whole crop of new students who want to come in and change the world and join us at Northwood.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, excellent. Kent, thank you so much. And
Pleasure.
I appreciate you coming down to Building 22, and maybe we'll do it again and do a little update in a month or so and see how we're coming along.
Yeah, that'd be great. But thank you very much.